How many things have you wanted to say but never sent? How many messages have been typed out, hovered over the send button, and then deleted, filed away into the quiet corners of your phone? These unsent words, they don't just vanish. They accumulate like dust in a forgotten room, each one a tiny ghost of a conversation that never happened. They become a collection, a silent library of feelings too heavy, too complicated, or too vulnerable to release into the world. But what happens when that collection starts to overflow? In a small apartment, nestled in a quiet part of the city, lived a woman with a special habit. It wasn't a collection of stamps or rare coins. It was a collection of words. Whenever her heart was too full, when emotions swelled up like a tide with nowhere to go, she would write a message. She'd pour her thoughts onto a screen or into a notebook, crafting each sentence with care. And then she wouldn't send it. She would save it to her drafts, or fold the piece of paper and place it inside a small, unassuming wooden box on her desk. This box was her sanctuary. It held the things she couldn't bring herself to say out loud. Inside, there were messages to her mother. "I'm sorry I didn't visit more often. Life just got so busy, and I always assumed there would be more time." She imagined her mother's face as she wrote it, a mix of love and regret swirling in her chest. A photo of her mother, smiling from a silver frame, sat beside the notebook, a silent witness to the confession. There were messages to an old friend, someone she hadn't spoken to in years after a silly, painful argument. Her finger would hover over their social media profile, the little green active dot, a beacon of possibility. She'd type, "I forgave you a long time ago. Hey, I miss the way we used to laugh. I hope you're happy." Hey. But she couldn't press send. The fear of silence, of rejection, was a wall she couldn't seem to climb. So, the message was folded and joined the others in the box. And there were messages to herself, perhaps the hardest ones to write. On days when the world felt cold and dismissive, she'd take out a fresh sheet of paper and write her own name at the top. "I'm proud of you," she'd write. "I know it doesn't feel like you're doing enough, but you are. You got up today, you're trying, and that is everything. I'm proud of you, even if nobody else says it." These messages were her own private encouragement, a lifeline she created for herself when no one else was there to offer one. The box grew heavier over the years, a testament to a life rich with unexpressed feeling. Each folded paper was a moment, a memory, a relationship suspended in time. It was a weight, yes, but it was also a comfort. Her unsent messages were proof that she felt deeply, even if she did so in silence. One afternoon, a soft, hesitant knock came at her door. When she opened it, she found her neighbor's teenage child standing there, clutching a notebook to their chest like a shield. Their eyes were red and puffy from crying. The teenager looked down at their feet, struggling to speak. I can't talk to my parents," the child finally whispered, their voice thick with unshed tears. "Everything I want to say, it just gets stuck in my throat. It feels like there's a stone in there." The woman looked at the child and saw a reflection of her younger self, the same frustration, the same feeling of being trapped by your own silence. Instead of offering platitudes or easy advice, she simply nodded and gestured for the child to come inside. She led them to her desk and gently lifted the lid of the small wooden box. The child peered inside, their eyes widening at the sight of hundreds of neatly folded papers, some yellowed with age, others on crisp, new stationery. The box was a kaleidoscope of different handwritings and faded dates. "These are my unsent messages," the woman said, a soft smile on her face. "They saved me on the days when my voice was too tired to work, when the words were too big for my mouth." She explained that sometimes just writing it down is the first step. It gives the feeling a name and a shape, taking it out of the chaos of your mind and putting it onto paper. It doesn't solve the problem, but it makes the weight a little easier to carry. Together, they sat at the desk. The woman encouraged the child to write down the message they were too scared to speak. Slowly, hesitantly, the child began to write, their tears falling onto the page and smudging the ink. "I'm trying my best," the page read. "I know I mess up, but I really am trying. I just want you to see that. You feel like you don't see me." The act of writing it seemed to release a pressure valve, the child's shoulders slumping in a wave of exhausted relief. Then, the woman asked a gentle question. "You don't have to send all of that," she said, tapping the tear-stained page. "That's for you. But what is one small sentence you feel brave enough to send today? Just one, something simple." The child thought for a long moment, looking at the complex emotional paragraph they had written. Then, their eyes lit up with a small spark of courage. They picked up their phone, their fingers trembling slightly as they typed a message to their mom. They didn't send the long, painful explanation. Instead, they chose 3 simple words. "Can we talk?" They sent it. The small delivered checkmark appeared, and the child held their breath, their heart pounding. A moment later, the 3 dots appeared, indicating a reply was being typed. And then the message came back. "Yes, of course, I'm listening." It wasn't a magical fix. It wasn't a promise that the conversation would be easy or that everything would be instantly resolved. But it was a start. It was a small door creaking open where before there had only been a solid wall. The child looked up at the woman, a fragile smile on their face, a look that was equal parts scared and hopeful. That night, long after the child had gone home, the woman sat at her desk and looked at her own box of unsent messages. She thought about the courage it took for the child to send just 3 words. Inspired, she opened the box and did something she hadn't done in years. She sifted through the old, folded papers until she found one addressed to her own mother. She didn't choose a long, complicated one. She picked a simple, honest truth. She took out her phone, found her mother's contact, and typed a short text, "I miss you today." She hesitated for only a second before her thumb pressed send. A soft smile touched her lips. It felt like letting a bird out of a cage. Unsent words are heavy. They filled boxes, phones, and hearts, weighing us down with the burden of what could have been said. We keep them because we're afraid of the response, afraid of being vulnerable, afraid of changing things. But maybe change is what we need. You don't have to send everything. You don't have to unload your entire box of feelings all at once. But maybe, just maybe, there is one simple, kind sentence you can send today. One small door you can open, because you are allowed to say how you feel. You are allowed to be heard. You for listening